Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Julie Bunn. I am the Executive Director of the Minnesota Council on Economic Education. We recognize that your time is valuable, so this program will be brief as we introduce you to the life-changing work that the Minnesota Council on Economic Education does in communities across the state. This program consists of 4 parts, the first two of which, this introduction and messages from teachers, students, and board members are pre-recorded. After these, I will speak to you live, followed by an optional question and answer session. If at any point in the program you have a question, feel free to use the chat feature on this webinar, and either a council staff member will respond to you directly through chat, or we will address your question in the Q&A at the end. The Minnesota Council on Economic Education prepares young people for successful futures by ensuring that they receive economics and financial literacy education. In doing so, we are equipping future generations of workers, innovators, visionaries, and leaders to have the skills to build a brighter future for our state. This work would not be possible without the support of individuals like you. Your generosity in the championing of the Council and its cause helps us increase our impact and change more lives. There are many ways you can support us. You can give personally to fund us, or you can influence others to fund us. You can also participate in our events to observe and learn, or to help us execute as a volunteer. Before we launch into the teacher and student portion of our program, I'm going to share with you what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. Since our founding in 1961, the Council has leveraged our expertise to deliver economics and personal finance education in Minnesota schools and communities. As a 501c3 nonprofit embedded at the University of Minnesota, we are in a unique position to connect world-class research and educators to everyday classroom and content issues. Through our network of affiliated centers for economic education at universities around the state, we're able to increase our reach and affect thousands of students in both the greater metro and outstate Minnesota. Our primary outreach is to Minnesota K-12 teachers who are teaching economics and personal finance. We build the content knowledge as well as the teaching skills of teachers through the provision of no or low-cost courses and workshops, and by freely providing them some of the very best curricula in the nation. The Council's primary strategy to reach students is through professional development courses for K-12 teachers. Last program year, we delivered training to over 1,000 Minnesota teachers. Our secondary impact is through the direct provision of a variety of engaging programs to students. Through competitions and capstone experiences, students demonstrate their knowledge of markets, our economy, and their role in it, and of principles of personal finance. Finally, the Council reaches a variety of adult learners with financial literacy education. Collaborating with the University of Minnesota Extension, the Council provides mentoring and customized financial literacy education training to the staff of community-based nonprofits. The Council believes that students with strong economic and personal financial understanding are empowered to make effective decisions for themselves and their communities. Research shows that teachers equipped with deeper content knowledge and competence deliver a more productive learning experience for their students. And an investment in one teacher leads to improved outcomes for hundreds or thousands of students over the course of their career. Research also shows that students who encounter economics and personal finance education are more likely to save money for retirement and be more responsible when taking out loans, and also invest in the stock market. They're also much more likely to use financial services such as banks and credit unions. In addition, by having a greater understanding of human capital and productivity, students are more likely to invest in education. Finally, students receiving an economics education have a better foundation to understand economic policy and the implications of political decisions for economic policy, making them better informed voters and citizens. Given the times we are living in, the work of the Council is more important than ever. Passed in 2011 and implemented beginning in 2013, The state of Minnesota now requires certain economic and personal finance concepts be taught in all grades, kindergarten through 12th. However, in their pre-licensure higher education programs, teachers do not receive sufficient training to do so. Most have no or only one course in economics. The Council fills this gap. The Council is the only Minnesota organization focused on delivering professional development and resources to the K-12 teachers of economics and personal finance. It is somewhat odd that it has fallen to a nonprofit to do so, but that is the historical path for economics and personal finance. In other fields like math, history, or geography, high school teachers almost always have majored in the subject. In these fields, they also have a teacher membership organization that provides some ongoing professional development, hosts annual conferences, and does teaching awards. In economics, the Council serves this role. The Council is a small nonprofit with an oversized impact. It has never employed more than 4 to 5 full-time staff, and its budget is currently under $700,000 per year. Yet over its 60-year history, the Council has impacted almost 3 million Minnesota youth, and currently we directly or indirectly reach 40 to 60,000 each year. As educators, we do not do this work alone. We receive support, input, and effort from funders across the state, both individuals and corporate and family foundations. Today, I ask that you please consider joining them in donating to the Council and advancing this very important work. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adam Rushmeyer, and I teach social studies at Melrose Area Public Schools.
My name is Stephen Cullison, and I've been teaching economics and social studies at Edina High School for about 7 years.
My name is Joel Coleman, and I'm a social studies teacher at UBA Medical Academy, an East African charter school.
Hi, I'm Colleen Gray. I'm the Education Director for the Minnesota Council on Economic Education.
The Minnesota Council on Economics Education first came to my aid when I discovered their classroom activities. So many of the best and most interactive approaches that I used in my first economics classes, such as the wheat market and a drama that tied pollution externalities, came from MCEE, and I still use those approaches today. Attending MCEE professional development opportunities, I learned about the Council's dedication to equity, which was exciting to me. The training I received on activities and strategies helped make my classes more energized, interactive, and inclusive.
No, I never thought I'd be an economics teacher. I had only taken one introductory course in college, and in my time learning from MCEE, I've attended many things. I've attended several 10-week summer courses, annual conferences, presentation on several special topics, and developed an economics-oriented teacher network for support, all to the benefit of my students this year and many of my years to come. MCE has given me the tools to have an oversized impact on my students and really empowering them to chart to that successful future.
I've been teaching social studies for 20 very fast years now and have focused on teaching economics and American government for the past 12 years. The Minnesota Council on Economic Education, MCEE, has transformed my teaching career and helped me create better student decision makers. When I graduated from college, my intention was to be a history teacher. I had no interest or background in teaching economics, and I had only taken one undergraduate econ course in college. Then the teacher who was teaching economics left, leaving it to me to teach the economics. I was not at all prepared for the task. 12 years later, I've come to believe, with the sustained and generous help of MCEE, that exposing high school students to the economic way of thinking is perhaps the most important job in a social studies department. Since I began teaching economics, I've taken several intensive week-long summer courses in economic education offered by MCEE. These courses introduced me to a network of other much more experienced teachers of econ. My economics classes are based almost exclusively on MCEE materials and resources that I've gathered while collaborating with this network. MCEE has been instrumental in allowing me to escape the limitations of relying on a textbook as a cornerstone of classroom instruction. I did not expect to learn as much about teaching pedagogy in general as I have through MCEE. I've learned more education pedagogy from the MCEE courses and workshops than I did in my teacher preparation coursework as an undergraduate. These highly effective teaching techniques have spilled over into the other classes I teach as well. Moreover, I would say that I've learned more pedagogy through MCEE than I have through my district staff development programs over the past decade. And that's not a knock on my district, which has done a very good job with staff development. It's much more a testament to the influence of MCEE's work.
I became familiar with the council as a fifth grade teacher in northern Minnesota. During that time, I was in the midst of trying to find content to teach my fifth graders. One, that it would hold their attention, which is difficult to hold the attention of 10 and 11-year-olds. And two, somehow making these lessons applicable to their lives. I knew they weren't going to pay attention to something that wasn't relatable. So I turned to my teaching team and asked, hey, what are the resources we have that we've used in the past? And I was met with a bunch of blank stares. So to my surprise, we didn't have content related to economic standards. And I was nervous about that because in my social studies methods class in college, we covered history and geography and civics, but did very little to probably nothing when it came to how to teach economics. So I turned to the internet and did a search, and luckily came across the Minnesota Council on Economic Education's website. And as soon as I accessed the content, the lessons online, I was immediately impressed by the depth of the lessons, and even more excited that they offered all kinds of training to teachers like me that were very little to no cost. So I signed up for just about everything I was able to. And while in the trainings that summer, I was impressed by the master teacher educators because they not only made sure I understood economic concepts, but they demonstrated how to make the content interesting and relatable for young learners. So as a result, I began to love teaching economics. And I enjoyed challenging my students to really try to determine how economic principles applied to their everyday lives. And in the end, I became a better teacher for it. And certainly my students were better prepared on how to recognize economics in their daily lives.
My students have participated in the Council's Economics Challenge for years. The challenge motivates my students, provides an opportunity for differentiation and enrichment for those students seeking additional challenge, and brings my students and our high school a sense of pride. The Economics Challenge is one of my favorite parts of teaching economics each year. I can no longer count the number of students who have come to me during the first year of college to tell me that my course inspired them to major in economics or business. Invariably, they cite the occasions on which we do economics, frequently using activities I've learned from MCEE resources and professional development, instead of just talking about economics. The students who participate in the Economics Challenge go on to study economics or business at an especially high rate, with their efforts in the competition figuring prominently in their college applications.
MCE has also helped me more fully engage my students in economics. My students participate in MCE's Economics Challenge, which pits students in a quiz bowl challenge against students from other schools. This past year, our UBA student team won the state competition, which is really exciting. I could not have made this happen for my students without the support of trainings provided by MCE. You know, typically the teams I bring to this Economics Challenge are not the top performing students of the school. Normally they're seniors who underperformed their first few years of high school, but really engage with economics and start seeing themselves as a worthy student. You know, the first year I participated in the Economics Challenge, none of my 4 students had above a 2.0 GPA, and they were all headed towards a 2-year college. After getting second at the urban regional competition, they started realizing they had what it takes to be a successful student. 3 of them actually ended up, after that experience, attending 4-year college. 2 went to Concordia University, 1 went to Gustavus Adolphus. And one of them even decided to go towards the path of business and economics.
My students have also participated in MCEE-sponsored contests over the years. Through the Global Food Challenge, for example, my students have completed a very rigorous 30 to 40-page research project applying economic concepts to an agricultural commodity. I've had scores of students come back after their first year of college and thank me for making them do the dreaded project, as they feel it gave them a real taste of the kind of thinking and writing that would be expected of them in college. The annual Economics Challenge, which is a quiz bowl type competition, has been a very fun way to motivate some students to further study economics at a college level. MCEE has helped me introduce more than 1,500 Melrose area high school students to an economic way of thinking over the past 12 years. These students are better thinkers and decision makers because of it, and are going to be a much better asset to their future communities because of that as well. And it's clear to me that none of this would have happened but for the efforts of the Minnesota Council on Economic Education. And so I thank them for their support, and I thank you for your support of MCEE's efforts as well.
Hello, I'm Dr. Christine West. I'm a member of the Board of Directors at the Minnesota Council on Economic Education. You've just had the opportunity to hear from Minnesota teachers whose careers and ability to teach economics and personal finance have been transformed and enriched by the Minnesota Council, the resources and the programming that it provides, and also about what this has meant for their students and the trajectory of those students' lives. Today, I'm a faculty member in the economics department at St. Catherine University, and I direct the Minnesota Center for Diversity in Economics, but more on that later. First, I want to tell you about the MCEE, an organization that I've known and loved for 20 years now. I first learned about the MCEE when I was a high school economics teacher, fresh out of college, working at Washburn High School in Minneapolis. I connected with the Minnesota Council and the College in the Schools program because I wanted to bring rigorous economics education to my students. I wasn't your typical MCEE teacher. I'd already completed a BA in economics, but despite my solid content training, I still needed lesson ideas, and I really benefited from the network of educators and experts from across the state. After 7 years teaching in Minneapolis, I went back to school myself, and I pursued a PhD in economics. I moved from teaching econ to studying the economics of teaching. My expertise is in K-12 education policy, and I can tell you from both experience and from my research, the Minnesota Council is a critical part of our state's education system. Without the MCEE, our teachers would be less prepared, they'd be less confident. And here's where I'll put my researcher hat on for a moment. There's really convincing research that shows that teachers who are anxious and unsure about math, and economics has a fair amount of math, that they pass that anxiety along to their students. Critically, the anxiety passes most strongly to female students who are often left with the sense that economics might be interesting, but maybe it's not for them. I mean, true story. I had a St. Kate student tell me once that her high school teacher just flat out told her economics isn't really for girls. Now, I don't think that's the norm. Teachers are committed and commit themselves every day to developing our next generation of leaders, and most would never, ever dream of telling a student that what she was and wasn't capable of. That said, I do think teachers are inadvertently, when they're not confident, they're inadvertently pushing students towards other fields of study and de-emphasizing the critical role that economics plays in shaping our business and policy landscape. We need more women in economics, and we need better representation broadly. So in 2018, I established the Minnesota Center for Diversity in Economics, and this center, together with the Minnesota Council, in partnership, we have a statewide reach, and we work to ensure that people from all backgrounds lead and influence economic research and decision-making. The Minnesota Center for Diversity in Economics and the Minnesota Council broadly promotes and supports gender and racial diversity in economics at every stage of the educational and career pipeline. Your donation to the Minnesota Council supports critical work with this vast network of teachers, and it supports our work at the Center for Diversity in Economics as well. Not only have I dedicated my professional efforts to supporting the Minnesota Council and our K-12 educators, along with my husband, Jim, who's also an economist, we give annually to support the Minnesota Council and the amazing work that they do. For Jim and I, it's critical that we support the Minnesota Council and that we support our K-12 economics teachers across the state. And I ask that you join us in giving. Next, you'll have the opportunity to hear from some high school students. You're going to hear from students who have been taught by Minnesota Council trained instructors, or you're going to hear from students who have participated in either the student competitions or the Summer Personal Finance Institute. Following this, you're going to hear from another board member, my colleague, Will Churland. Will, like me, has benefited directly from the work of the Minnesota Council. He actually took his high school econ classes from a Minnesota Council master teacher. So you're going to get to hear from some students and a student who went on to become a board member.
Hi, my name is Eric and I'm in 12th grade at Mounds View High School.
My name is Cameron and I am in 11th grade at Mounds View High School.
I'm Brett and I am in 10th grade and I'm from Bram Area High School.
Economics classes are usually my favorite classes when I get the opportunity to take them. There's something about combining the power of math with the problems of the human world that is really interesting and exciting to me. Personal finance is also always a fun class because it shows me that I can take control of my own life and future. Economics Challenge has had a massive impact on my life ever since I joined it. It turned my interest in economics into a true passion and led me to pursue additional knowledge outside of what I had already learned in the classroom. Because of Econ Challenge, I continue to enjoy learning new things about economics all the time.
In high school, economics classes have been my favorite since I have found an interest in finance and economics. I find it fascinating to learn information that I can apply to my own life. Our school also has an amazing economics teacher, which makes things a million times better. Learning economics has also helped me outside of school. I've been in Mounds View's Econ Club for all 4 years of high school, and this year I am one of the captains. Through MCEE and competitions like Economics Challenge and Personal Finance Decathlon, I found a place to foster my interest in economics and finance. Not only do I have a good time learning about monetary policies and investing with my friends, but I also find the content engaging. Although I've been in my high school's Econ Club for 4 years, there's still so much for me to learn. To me, participating in an MCEE program is a great opportunity for me to continue my learning, which I just absolutely love. It's helped me become successful in competitions such as Economics Challenge and Personal Finance Decathlon, and I have to thank MCEE for all their hard work.
I participated in the College Dollars and Cents program last summer. I was happy to see the program was made available to all Minnesota students. Being an out-state student and being able to connect with students from around the state made this class very interesting because we all come from different backgrounds, different levels of knowledge of personal finance, and we are even all in different grades. My teachers were really good about making personal finance interesting. They focused on helping me learn about managing money and how to be successful in the future. They cared a lot about me and everyone in the class. They knew a lot about economics and personal finance, but still managed to make it fun. I could tell they were interested in what they were doing, which is nice. Sometimes I can tell if a teacher isn't really passionate about a subject, and it makes a big difference to me when they are interested, which the College Dollars and Cents teachers were.
Thanks, Eric, Brett, and Cameron. It's amazing to hear all these different students' stories about how they've experienced MCE in different ways and how it has opportunities for all different types of students. Hi, my name is Will Churland. I've never been much of a writer or a reader. It always led me to think that maybe just academics and schooling just wasn't for me. Up until my freshman year of high school and my first economics class. It was taught by MCEE master teacher Martha Rush, and it changed my perspective on everything. It made it so much more simple for me to not only understand the world, but understand all the different subjects throughout school in a deeper fashion. I went on to not only take economics, but was able to take AP Macro and AP Micro through her, and it was able to instill the confidence in the rest of my academic studies that led me on to getting an economics degree at the University of Minnesota Duluth. Now, I own my own business. I employ 10 people, and it is a great feeling, and it all comes back to the confidence that I was instilled through economic education that gave me a kind of bearing to be able to make choices later on and have the confidence to believe in myself. I'm here today because I got the amazing opportunity of having an MCEE master teacher like Martha Rush. She is able to bring economics to the students in a different way that actually applies to their everyday life and makes it very fun and engaging. I want students all over the state of Minnesota to be able to have the opportunities that I had with my economic education because I know how much it's done for me. That's why I hope you can do your best to give whatever you can to MCEE and further economic education through the state of Minnesota.
Welcome to what would have been the live portion of the fundraiser, but is now recorded. A few closing slides follow, one of which contains my email address. You can gain more information about MC by going to our website, or feel free to email me directly with any questions you may have. We hope that by having had an opportunity to hear from teachers, students, and board members whose contact with the Council has transformed their education, careers, and lives, you have developed an understanding of the impact your donation to the Council can have. With help from donors like you, the Council achieved much success this past year. Teachers registered for our workshops at more than double the numbers of each of the previous 2 years. These teachers taught over 50,000 students last year alone. We also successfully transitioned our entire direct-to-student programming to online platforms, reaching over 1,500 youth, with some programs like our Summer Personal Finance Institute seeing enrollment increase relative to the former in-person program. Finally, and very importantly, the Council renewed and ramped up our commitment to ensuring that all Minnesotans, no matter what demographic, location, or size of their community or school, have access to quality economic and financial literacy education. The Council increasingly targets significant resources in programming to low-income and diverse student and adult populations. Looking to the future, teachers and students are facing many uncertainties. The Council will be there to help them succeed. This school year, in addition to some more intensive workshops, we are offering free weekly webinars to teachers statewide, bringing in exciting instructors and providing teachers with new and engaging ways to reach their students via distance or hybrid models. We will continue offering all direct student programming virtually through June 2021 and are building in additional creative and challenging elements. We are also very excited about adding 2 creative arts economics competitions to our offerings. Through a K-8 poster drawing contest and a 6th through 12th grade music video contest, students will demonstrate their understanding of core economic concepts through the arts. Donations from individuals like you make these programs possible. While 2020 has challenged us all in ways we could not have anticipated, MC knows that this work, the work we do, is more important than ever in improving, even transforming lives. As 2021 approaches, bringing with it a host of new possibilities, we hope you will choose to invest in this vital work. In closing, to you and yours, and in the spirit of the season that lays before us, one of gratitude and hope, we wish you peace of mind and good health. Thank you.